Welcome in to a very, very special episode here at Why So Siddies, a nerd podcast. We are happy you are here because you have found yourself at the that's right, third annual Siddie Awards, where we honor the best and the best of all fandom across the year 2024, movies and series alike. We're going to be listing off the best things we've got out there. What came across on the big screen, what came across on the small screen, and everything in between. We have done this twice now, which is why this is the third, if you can count. That's why it's named that. But it's been a fun little thing we did from our first year. We ended the year off with one of these things, and it stuck. So we've been doing it every year. It's a fun little wrap to kind of check back on all the stuff that came across. We look back to see if it was a good or a bad year in certain things. As of last year, we had a lot better movies in fandom compared to this year. Movies were a little bit lighter in the fandom, but the series were packed. So there's plenty of stuff to get into, but we are going to be honoring the best of the best. We are going to be giving each of our picks. Topics across the line are going to be biggest disappointment, biggest surprise, best action, best actor in a movie, best actress in a movie, best actor in a series, best actress in a series, best supporting actor in a movie or series, that's a combined category. Best supporting actress in a movie or series. Biggest obleep moment. Best new character. Best villain. And then finally, the top two, the big swinging dicks. Best movie and best series. So, we're going to go down the line. Again, there was a lot of great series out there this year. The Penguin, Dune Prophecy, House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, Fallout. We even had animated series popping off with Creature Commandos and X-Men 97. There were other shows that existed, like Agatha all along in The Acolyte. And then movies, obviously, we had some big ones. I'm not even going to list them off because the list is short, and there's one heavy one that I think we're obviously going to land on and talk about tonight. And if you're out there, go ahead and guess it in the chat if you think you know what the best movie of the year is. Or shut up and don't spoil things. It's up to you. So before we jump into this prestigious event, we're going to go ahead and tell you to go over to social media, click follow, IG, X, and maybe TikTok. Yesterday we had a death in the family with TikTok going out of service, and then today it was revived and is back on our phones. So we don't know what the hell is happening there, but all we know is we broke 16,000 followers over there thanks to the lovely JD here, and we would like to see that continue. So Why So Sidious is rooting for the existence of TikTok. We'll see what happens. But if it does die and you're a follower there, go ahead and follow us on IG and X because we will be continuing the work there, and YouTube as well. We broke 600 followers on YouTube, I think, this week. So it's starting to move. So please follow us on there. We might start doing some more live work outside of just these live episodes. And be sure to check out our most recent episodes. We've got Weekend Geeks out. We did a Nerd Therapy Star Wars edition with special guest Clan Brandalorian. We finished up Dune Prophecy coverage. We did our Outlook for 2025, which was a fun episode. That will be on Spotify shortly, but it's on YouTube right now if you want to go check that out. And we will be continuing stuff coming out soon. We've got Captain America Brave New World coming out next month. We've got Daredevil Born Again coming out the following month. We've got Fantastic Four and Superman coming out this summer. Thunderbolts after that. I mean, we got a lot of stuff to cover this year, and we're again going to be leaning into a little bit more creative episodes, a lot of top fives, talk about our deepest childhood trauma moment, do some therapy there. We'll mix it up, bring some new content to you guys. So whatever you want, go ahead and throw your request out in the chat. But let's go ahead and start this awards ceremony. Here with me, who are going to be doing this tonight, is my co-hosts, JD and Caleb. Thank you for joining me here tonight. And thank you to everybody out there in the chat already, and we hope to see more and more showing up. So, 2024, let's get into it. We're going to go ahead and start off with the biggest disappointment of 2024. There were a good amount of contestants for this one. There was a lot of disappointing things in the year. I'm very curious to see what you guys have on your list here. I think it could be a variety type category here. So, Caleb, you're the oldest. Why don't you go first? Kick us off here. What do you got?
Jeez, age before beauty.
Yeah, seniority, dog. You've been here longer. You know how it works. Caleb here is only 12 years older than us, so it's not that big of a difference. But biggest disappointment, if you got an OLI or two that you want to throw out, feel free, and then let us know what your winner is.
I do have an OLI, and it is the Joker 2. I mean, vibes were not very strong going into that movie, but the first one was still solid, and I was still excited to see the follow-up, but yeah, too much music. The movie was all about the first movie. There was no real plot going forward. The ending was dumb. Like, just not a great movie overall. And it flopped in the box office. But my biggest disappointment of the year is The Acolyte. Just because of the hype behind this show, you know, it's our first look at a dark side character. We're going to learn about the Sith, and then come to find out the show is all about Jedi. And there's one, you know, mysterious Sith character running around. And of course, it got canceled after that, so we don't even get to see what happens, what story they were trying to tell. And overall, it was bland. The story was very predictable. The characters weren't super interesting. Besides I even forgot his name. What's his name?
Come here.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean. And Star Wars just hasn't had the greatest track record lately, and I was really excited to see them get back on the right track. So it's got to be The Acolyte. Sounds like someone's out there in the jungle.
Somebody did not like your take there, dude. They were very pro Acolyte. Do not like that you were not a fan of that.
Or they really, really liked it.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, Khmer was what I was trying to say when I was muted there. But okay, I think that's a fair list right there. JD, you want to go ahead and continue it?
I would love to. I got a movie and a series. My series is also Acolyte. It's just I really thought that was going to be the one for Star Wars to come back. Something about Sith, which I've always wanted. And I don't know, I thought they would learn from their mistakes at some point. And I thought The Acolyte was the time. And yeah, it just sucked. It did give us that one really good action episode full of Jedi's being slaughtered.
Episode 4.
But for what that's worth. Yeah, that sucked. So that was a huge disappointment. And Star Wars remains not back. My movie is Kraven. And I totally get it. It's Sony. Like, why would you expect a Sony thing to be good? But I don't know. It had a good creative team. The director was the dude who did like Triple Frontier. It was rated R, so it seemed like they were committing to, you know, violence and stuff like that. But it turns out that was just a sales pitch because it really barely even needed to be rated R. Like, I think they forced in an F-bomb with a reshoot or two, but that's about it. And they were coming off of Deadpool and Wolverine 3 because it was just not even gory, not even that violent, not much action for there to be violence in the first place. Not a lot of cussing, no nudity, no sex. It feels like it has the foundation of a PG-13 movie. And then they decided to say, let's make this rated R. A couple reshoots, a couple F-bombs, throw in some blood, and, you know, gather that hype of Deadpool 3. Because it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't even close to rated R feeling anyway. Just the first scene and the scenes they showed in the trailers, which also were very misleading because he was not killing poachers at all. He was, I mean, he might have killed one, but those bear traps were for him. That was like one of the only action scenes of Kraven as the hunter. Like, we didn't even get Kraven the hunter, really. You know, not much of that. So very disappointing. It sucked.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned that. So, yeah, I ended up seeing it. Majority of the action scenes were chase scenes with Kraven chasing after somebody or running away, but not actually fighting. And then, yeah, when we got that final fight, it is funny you mentioned that. There were scenes where it should have been rated R, but it's like in other scenes or other projects, like the bear trap to the face or something, it felt like we didn't actually see it. Every really gory scene was like a quick flash. Like, you'd see blood splatter and but you wouldn't actually see the trap clamp down. It wasn't like you didn't see the details of it. So it was very rushed, blurred, violent scenes. So which technically
seems like
I
it was
guess need to be
designed
rated
to be
R, but
PG-13.
yeah, exactly. It was like, so why didn't you? Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Okay, so you got The Acolyte and Kraven were your two picks.
Yep.
Okay.
God, and it's just how bad it was too. It wasn't just like it was bad; it sucked.
The dialogue was awful. Again, like Madam Web levels of dialogue and certain scenes that was just like awkward.
And it was just boring. Just boring.
That too. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not going to agree with you guys on The Acolyte and on Joker because I didn't have expectations for those. If you've been listening, I wasn't really looking forward to The Acolyte. I was at a point, and then I started losing hope the more and more we got closer to it, and then yeah, we had what we had. And then Joker, I never really had any interest in that one, so it didn't make my list because I didn't have expectations for it. So for me, runner-up, I guess we'll call it my movie disappointment one. Sadly, is Craven as well. I didn't have a lot of expectations for other movies, and for some reason, I hyped myself up thinking I actually think this is going to be fun. I think this will, and it wasn't.
Fool.
Very very stupid things going on between the ridiculous shoehorned origin story of Chameleon, one of Spider-Man's rogue gallery villains, which they just made it Craven's brother, and I don't care about spoilers. They just made it Craven's brother, and it was just a throwaway line. Like, there's just a character in the movie, no explanation. His brother could just sound like any singer he wanted to. He could mimic every single voice perfectly. So he sung as Frank Sinatra. He sung as like auto-tune people. No explanation for it. And then all of a sudden at the end of the movie, he's like, "Well, I went to a doctor in New York and now I can change my face to anybody too." just starts chameleon deal. Like, it was like, well, where the hell? There's 3 minutes left in the movie. What do we do? It was a mess. So yeah, I don't know why I got excited for that. Andy with Galactic Core was saying it's Sony. I don't know why you have high expectations for this. I said, well, it doesn't matter. No, it mattered. They didn't care. They didn't put any effort into it. It was bad. But my biggest disappointment of the year is actually House of the Dragon. Because I had very high expectations for this, and although it was still a fine season, like overall in the grand scheme of television seasons, it was entertaining, but it was nowhere near where I was expecting it to be. So that was a very, very disappointing season of television. And again, I enjoyed most of it still, but man, I thought it was going to blow us out of the water, and it was probably worse than season 1. So yeah, those are mine. And then runner-ups, Echo was a pretty big disappointment. We kind of got hopes up for that show, which is hard to believe that was even in the same year.
That was
but
24.
It was.
I know. Some of the movies are like, wait, that was this year?
Right. Like, yeah. And then Venom 3, which didn't make the cut because I kind of had a feeling it'd be bad, but I still had a little bit of hope when we got Noel thrown into it. You had to jump up. We've been talking about it for 3 years now, and it was 17 seconds of CGI Noel with no dialogue, so that was cool. Yeah. All right. Well, we talked about disappointments. We've been very negative Nancy here, so how about we talk about the biggest surprise of the year? Something we really just, and it doesn't have to be something you thought was going to be bad. It can just be something you watched and it just blew you out of the water with how good it actually was. So JD, why don't you lead us off with this one?
I misunderstood the context, so my biggest surprise of the year was...
It's going to be a cameo, isn't it?
The Human Torch himself. Oh, surprise. I'll think about it when Lub answers.
All right, JD, you can go last on this one. I'll lead off then. Mine was the Fallout series. Again, it was one I didn't think it was going to be bad. I just didn't have a lot of stuff. I didn't have a lot of expectations for it, and I thought it was incredible. I loved it from start to finish. I thought it was one of the best video game adaptation series we've ever gotten, and I just thought it was a very big surprise at how much I liked it. I did not expect to like it that much. And then my OLIs were X-Men 97, which I was looking forward to it regardless, but I didn't expect to really be into it as much as I was and be that involved. And Doom Prophecy were both my OLIs, but Fallout takes it for me. Yeah. Caleb, what about you?
I have the same answer. It's Fallout as well. Definitely video game adaptations haven't been the best besides Last of Us. And I'm not even really familiar with the Fallout world. I didn't play any of the games before watching the show, but the show was so good that it made me go and play the video game. So yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I cannot wait for season 2.
Good call. Fallout. Yeah. I played New Vegas because of the show.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't watch that one or Shogun 2 that I really want to watch. Yeah, I almost tried. I almost tried to watch it before this because I knew everyone says it's great, but couldn't pull it off. So yeah, take that in mind for all my answers regarding series audience. I haven't seen 2 amazing series apparently, Shogun and Fallout.
Well, to be fair, which I guess I don't know, Love, did you include Shogun in any of these award categories? Okay, I didn't either because I didn't take it as fandom as much, but Fallout
Right.
for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we are sticking to fandom. I forgot. I have some OLIs that are not fandom, but yeah, I'll just throw them out
If
there
it's
real
not a
quick.
winner, it's fine. You could throw it out as an OLI.
Yeah. Anyway, with biggest surprise, I'm going to go with Creatures Commandos actually, because I'm
Nice.
not an animated fan for the most part. You know, I don't hate it, and it's also out of all the projects in the DCU is by far the lowest. So I didn't care about it, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. So that was a big surprise. It was a lot of fun. It was just like enough into the DCU lore that that was enough to be satisfying, but then enough of its own story to be very satisfying, and just different enough from the Suicide Squad to be different enough from Suicide Squad. So it all worked out really well. I like the animation style of it. It was dark. It was sad, emotional at times, diving into certain characters' backstory. The main present day story was really exciting, so there were a couple of fun little Easter eggs that were really cool. So yeah, big surprise there because I didn't think it was going to be good.
Nice. I still got to watch that. I'm kind of bummed at myself that I didn't watch it before this, but I am looking forward to it from what you've said. Sounds like I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for the biggest. Our crowd is causing a ruckus
We're live.
out there.
We're
They're
live
loving
at the
it.
Academy Awards. Yeah.
We do have people in the audience. We didn't want to say anything, intimidate the people who are joining us live, but there are people here. So we got biggest disappointment. We got biggest surprise. Let's head on to the best action of the year, series or movie. Whatever project just gave us the best pound per pound, most enjoyable, heart-throbbing, blood-pumping action.
Baby.
Yeah. So, Lub, kick it off. What do we got?
I think I gotta go with
Oh,
when you get a
Batman.
when you get a movie with two of the most iconic action scene characters on the big screen, Deadpool and Wolverine. Just there were so many you get the comedy, you get the brutal, the knives to the head and how gory some of the scenes are. And then Wolverine comes in, and even the scene where they fight each other inside the van. So I just think, I think it was with the comedy and the action were the two strongest points of this movie for sure.
Yeah, agreed. I think comedy, yeah. That van scene was awesome. That's one of my favorite fight scenes we've seen in an MCU in a while. So, all right. Deadpool and Wolverine. Did you have any OLIs, or was that it?
That's it.
All right, JD, who's your winner? What do we got? Or OLI,
Deadpool and Wolverine also. Yep, I got that. I have an OLA as Dune 2, and they are so contrasting to each other.
Dude.
One being gory hand to hand, one being like cinematic large scale. But I couldn't not mention Dune because like the large scale action stuff, but also some of the tactical action with very unique gear and weapons, like these silent floating things going up the mountain, or some of the helicopter like things. Some of their weapons up there were very unique. Like those shotgun blast machine guns from up there as they were hiding underneath, the frame,
the
or something
catcher.
about this big machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool scene there. Just very unique. So that had to be mentioned. But then, yeah, the Deadpool and Wolverine stuff was just so satisfying. I actually think pound for pound, I prefer the first fight that they do right before they meet everybody else. Just the van scene is longer, so it ends up, it's so much fun. It's so creative. But that first one was fun. You set it up with Hell's Bells or whatever that AC/DC song was, and they have this face off. Deadpool's like, this is gonna hurt, and it was a lot of fun.
I need to watch that again.
That was, and that led right into him facing off with Sabretooth, which obviously had a big build up and not a long fight, but it was still like a very fun sequence there.
Yeah.
All right, so we got two Deadpool and Wolverines. My OLI is Deadpool and Wolverine. And that's because, to me, obviously there was great action in it. But there was also some action where I thought it was like, it was a little too much CGI-ish for me. Like that final sequence with them killing all the Deadpools, I actually didn't enjoy that sequence.
Not my
favorite.
favorite. That's a terrible climax fight for a good movie like that.
Especially when a lot of the killings is so blatantly CGI. Like if you watch that sequence closely, which again I haven't even watched it the second time, but when you watch those clips, that clip of that scene, and you look closely at the Wolverine stabbing and the Deadpool, like contact's not even being made on some of them, and then there's just blood. Like it just wasn't very attention to detail type of a scene. It was almost kind of a gimmick scene that was just really made cool by Wolverine's mask. But overall, so the comedy was better for me than the action in Deadpool and Wolverine. But so I went with Dune Part 2, and that, like JD said, the large scale action sequences, the laser guns being fired across from deep desert dunes into these ships, blowing them up, these insanely powerful, just purple white beams of light. When they're doing the guerrilla warfare against the sand gatherers and whatnot, where they're running from little blockade to blockade, firing the RPG against the shields. Like you said, the anti-gravity thing as they're going up the mountainside, all the way to Paul and Fade Routha's duel at the end, which was an awesome hand-to-hand fight scene. I mean, there was such a variety of action in this movie that was just so epic and on such a grand scale that it was awesome. So I had to go with Dune 2.
It's fair.
That is fair. You better say that. OLI outside of Deadpool and Wolverine, I did have the Rings of Power on there, barely, and Godzilla times Kong.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's fair too.
Just because the entire movie is action,
Really
it's just a lot of it wasn't that great, but I'll throw it in there. There just wasn't a lot to pick from for best action this year. It felt like, and I think
really
it's because it was a slow movie year when it came to that. So, well, all right. We have gotten through 3 categories. Now we are getting into the personal stuff. We are talking about actors. We are talking about actresses. We are going to start off with, you know what? No, we'll save that one. That should be later. We're going to start off with Best Supporting Actor in a Movie or Series. One category. Movie or Series, Best Supporting Actor. I'll start this one off. So I had a honorable mention OLI for Fabian Frankel, who played Kristen Cole in House of the Dragon Season 2.
Okay.
And that's because, look, we hate him. And if we hate him the way we hate him, he must be doing a pretty good job at acting. And with that and his disillusionment of everything after he saw a dragon for the first time on the battlefield, like he really sold that as a broken, just defeated man. And I really thought the hate he got really was attributed to how well he played that role. So I think he deserved the nod, deserved a little shout out there. But my winner goes to the household name Renzi Feliz, and that is the actor who plays Victor Aguilar in The Penguin. I think he did an incredible job as a supporting actor. It was a very different role, something we really don't see often. A character we weren't expecting, nor did we care about when he was first introduced. But by the end of the season, he was one of the characters we cared the most about. And he had a very tragic path. I won't spoil it and say exactly what happened. Or I guess I can. If you haven't watched The Penguin, get out of here. But his end scenes in that season were just brutal, and he just had such a path to watch through the show. I thought the actor absolutely killed it in such a unique type of role. So that's my winner for Best Supporting Actor. Caleb, what do you got?
I'll say Victor does come up a couple times later in this episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for mine, I have Ewan Mitchell, who is, of course, Aemon Targaryen.
Amen.
I think he carried the season a lot because Daemon was off having a fever dream, hallucinating. You know, Rhaenyra and Alicent still had some good moments, but with Aemon, he's like right on the edge of insanity where he wants to be king. He's trying to take over, but he's also trying to play his cards right so he doesn't get in trouble. And just him and Vagar, the combo they have together. I mean, he just killed it. Where he's like a method actor where he really gets into that role. So I had to give it to him.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I probably should have thought of him for an OLI. He did really kill it. All right. All right. JD?
All
similar?
right. So for my OLI, supporting actress goes to Christine Milioti because she absolutely.
Oh, that's
killed
next
it.
category, but that's fine.
Oh, we're doing just movies.
No, we're doing actor, best supporting actor.
Oh, okay.
But we could,
Okay. Spoilers. Okay. So that's not an OLI, so that's just gonna be my pick because I have a weird list. So anyway, actor. I got Austin Butler from Dune 2 playing
Fade Routha.
Foyd.
Fade Routha. Yep.
Yeah, the main secondary main villain's nephew, right?
Mm-hmm.
Harkonnen.
Yeah, he killed it. So he really brought a cool dynamic to that movie because the cinematic large scale stuff we're talking about, he was such a contrast to that. He was grounded and vicious. He was just like an animal that was at the same time kind of cunning and witty. So that allowed for some great hand-to-hand combat, some really cool fight scenes, and a really scary, not scary, not really, but intimidating villain that replaced Batista's obnoxious ass. So yeah, I think that was a really cool addition to the movie there. So supporting actor there.
Yeah, he was way more intimidating than Batista's character, which I always forget his name. Robin.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
He just cries the whole movie.
Yeah, he just throws a fit the whole time.
It's
like,
annoying,
he just
or
yells.
screams. Yeah.
Stop yelling, bro.
It's like my toddlers.
I can't believe I snubbed Austin Butler. I gotta say, he should have at least been an OLI.
That's fair.
Yeah, he was great.
Okay, so let's get into best supporting actress. JD, if you want to finish that thought there for best supporting actress, what we got?
We already know what that's about. Yeah, Christine Milioti, really, really good. I think she blew me away, and I was like, I think Dave, you said it also in the trailers. She was a character. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to get into a story like this. They seemed like they had a thing going on in the trailer, and I didn't really know what she brought to the table at all. But she brought everything to the table. She was amazing. Her facial expressions alone were kind of like really scary at times, like that time when Penguin, when they were saying goodbye at the restaurant, and she said something about her brother being killed, and then all of a sudden she just like has that look in her eyes, and the music has a little tone there. And it was scary. It was like the scariest look I've seen given by an actress.
Right.
But she was awesome. So she kind of, then you end up siding with her towards the end. So a super complex, well-written character. I literally side with her at the end, especially after Vic. But a lot of great stuff there. I really wonder what Catwoman and her have got going on there. What does Catwoman want with her? That's crazy.
That's
you got
right.
a half sister. So. But amazing. So yeah, that's my best actress.
Yeah, she really did kill it, and I totally forgot about that tease. So yeah, they're related. Their father is both.
Got around.
So is Catwoman going to go more
Falcone.
villain? You think?
I forgot what his name was.
Or is
Carmine.
Christine? Or is Hangman going to go more hero?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I could totally see it being a case where Catwoman's kind of doing her thing with her and like figuring her out because she's family, and it causes strife with her and Batman. Batman's like, "What are you doing hanging out with this criminal? She's a psychopath.
Totally.
She's a murderer. And
Are you cheating on me?"
Well, if Batman 2 isn't going to come out till like 2023 or 2033, maybe we should do a
like,
Penguin
shit, I
season
missed
2.
Seriously though.
Yeah, we might get a season 2 before it. 2027. It's October of 2027
That's
is
crazy.
the projected date for Batman 2.
That's
a
2
full
years.
5 years
pushed.
after the first movie. Pushed
Yeah.
2 years back. Like,
It's almost 3 years from now.
it's wild.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's over 2.5 years from now. Like, it's just crazy. So, pretty brutal. By the way, shout out. We see you, Clan Brandalorian. We got Brando in the chat. Thank you for joining us here. We've done an episode with him recently. We talked about at the beginning here, our Nerd Therapy Star Wars edition. He was a wonderful guest that we had on. So shout out, Brandon. Thank you for joining us. So, Lub, best supporting actress. What do you got?
It's Dune 2 racking up another victory, and it's Rebecca Ferguson. So obviously that's Lady Jessica, Paul's mom.
Mom. Yeah.
She played two different characters in this movie, where she's like supporting Paul, you know, very nice, and then once she takes the, what's it called, the agony, apparently is what we learned in Dune Prophecy.
Well, it's called the agony in the series, but it's the something water.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it's called. Maker's water. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
She turns into a completely different person, to where she's almost the villain, where like she's pushing Paul to become the Messiah, and you know this whole propaganda is coming into place because of her, and she's finishing off the whole Bene Gesserit's 10,000 years of work. So yeah, she killed it in this movie and had a lot bigger role than I suspected too.
Yeah. No, she was great. So that was your winner, right? That's who took the cake.
That's my winner, yeah.
All right. Well, that is my OLI. Yeah, she, like you said, she played a split role down there, and she has this in common with my winner. She was very unnerving in a lot of scenes, the way she acted, and once she got that kind of omniscient power going on and her communicating with the baby in the womb and she was very unnerving, but did it in a really good way all the way to the end of the movie. $5. But my winner is also Christine Milioti. She just really killed that role of Sophia Falcone. I mean, JD covered it. It's the same thing. Yeah, I didn't expect anything from her from the trailers. Like, we don't need to waste time with it. Nope, weren't wasting time at all. She really added a whole lot to that series. She kind of made the series. I don't know this season how it would have gone without her. So she did a really solid job, and I haven't seen her in a ton of stuff. You know, we've seen her in Black Mirror in one of those episodes, the USS Callister or something.
Right.
But other than that, she hasn't been in a lot. So she did a really solid job, and I think she's going to get some more roles coming out of this for sure.
And she won us over, because I remember us in the first episode going, why is it all about her? Like, who is this character? Why is it so focused on her? And by the end, it's like, okay, like this was the reason why she's the side character to Penguin.
I get it. Yeah. No, absolutely. Clan Brandalorian in the chat, that is a good point. I can't believe that might be the biggest snub of the year. He said, what about Sydney Sweeney and Madam Web? Nobody wanted to give that to Sydney Sweeney. Huh?
Well,
it's true.
she had the goods covered up the whole movie, so
she's wearing a sweater vest the whole damn movie. Like, oh, what a movie! What a movie! I mean, if we did have a category with like just biggest piece of garbage of the year, I'm pretty sure Madam Web would have been a consensus, and JD didn't even see it, and I feel confident he would have voted
That's
that.
why.
I probably should have picked that over Joker too. Honestly, but it was just like.
But did you have expectations?
No,
like it can't be disappointing.
And we had a fun time watching it in theaters too because of how bad it was.
Had a blast, yeah. Well, we came in ready and we knew what to expect, so it was a pretty funny time. But yeah, that'll probably be the first and last time Madam Web gets mentioned in this episode. So, all right, that does it for Best Supporting Actor and Actresses. Now let's get to the big swingers here, and we'll start off with series. Best Actress in a Series. And I'll go ahead and start us off here. I don't have an OLI, I just have a straight winner, and that is Ella Purnell in Fallout. She, of course, played the main character who was from the Vault, and what I'm doing is definitely not buying time to look it up, but her name was Lucy. Lucy in Fallout, yeah. She was good. She was really good. Very unassuming type of character. Had no idea what to expect from her, and I enjoyed following her around for the whole season. So, again, different type of character, very naive, and sees the good in everybody in a world full of people just trying to backstab each other and kill each other in a post-apocalyptic world. So it's a pretty cool contrast with a character like that. It's fun to watch.
Exactly.
So she did really good. So that's my winner, Ella Purnell.
Nice.
Lub?
I have the same. Ella Purnell as well. It wasn't a strong year for actresses. I feel like that's happened in our cities the last couple of years when it comes to strictly fandom. You know, we had like the Marvels to choose from. I think that was 2023, correct? And Guardians. So it was like, okay, Gamora or Captain Marvel, like, they're good at, but yeah. And Ella Purnell, Lucy, she's like the Vault Dweller. So she's really like the audience's point of view going into this new world. where she's, been living inside the whole time, doesn't know this, crazy post-apocalyptic world she's about to go into. So, yeah, she killed it that way.
Yeah, last year I think the problem was we just didn't have any main female roles.
Right.
Like for the actual, we had some supporting options, but for main, I think mine was Bella Ramsey as Ellie in The Last of Us or something. But outside of that, there wasn't a lot to go off of. But yeah, all right, JD, you got something different? I would imagine because you didn't watch Fallout, but it would be wild if she was your winner.
Yeah, I got Emma D'Arcy as Rhaenyra Targaryen, even though I was also very disappointed in season 2. She just she still killed it as Rhaenyra. Didn't get a lot to do as far as the writing of that show goes, which is a huge bummer and part of why the season was disappointing. Kind of thought there was going to be some serious action and revenge, especially with her. Like you thought it was going to be way more about her, but regardless, she killed it. So, and I also don't have a huge pool to pick from what I've seen. So I'm sure there's more better options. But yeah. She's solid.
Yeah, no, she, like you said, the season was a disappointment, but with what she had to work with, she still did really well. Like, I still thought she had some really solid scenes, some really powerful scenes where she stood up for herself and some solid monologues. Yeah. So, yeah, she had a good year. She was probably my runner-up. I just didn't pick one, but, yeah. All right. That is, yeah, that's it for Best Actress, right? All right. In a series. Now let's jump into the movies. And then we'll do the best actors for our next 2 categories. So, best actress in a movie. Again, we kind of get to the point where there wasn't a lot of movies where there was a main lead actress or there wasn't a lot of good movies. Excuse me. So I really only had 2 to pick from, 2 movies. So my OLI goes to Kaylee Spaney, who is the main character in Alien Romulus. Rain, yes. She was also in Civil War, but she was the main character in Alien Romulus, and she did good. She was pretty solid. It didn't blow me away or anything, but again, there wasn't a lot to pick from for movies. So my winner is going to Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa in the movie Furiosa. Again, it was a movie that kind of didn't really hit much. A lot of people did not enjoy it. I watched it. I had a fun time. I didn't have expectations going into it, and I think Anya Taylor-Joy did a pretty solid job as a young Furiosa. By the way, in the chat, we got a little conflict. Mr. Benjamin here, who has also been a guest on our show, is in the audience here, and he says, "Wow, no Mariko." Well, to be fair, Ben, Shogun did not make our qualifications for the Siddies because it is not a fandom series.
Yeah, come on.
So if it was... Absolutely. Mariko and Shogun was incredible, but didn't make the qualification, so Mariko will not be on any of our lists.
Mariko-san.
Mariko. But yeah, I got Anya Taylor-Joy, Furiosa. Caleb?
I have Kaylee Spaney. Like you said, not a lot of choices to choose from, but Rain from Romulus. It was just a really solid movie that made you feel like you were back in the 80s. And obviously the ending was amazing. So I decided to pick the main character from one of the movies I enjoyed the most.
Right. Yeah. It gets difficult, unfortunately. But
damn Hollywood.
JD? Yeah. Sexist. JD, what do you got for this?
I'm going to go with Zendaya, and let me explain, because I think the character is kind of boring for me in Dune, but I think she plays that character really well. I mean, she's usually like a spunky character, like kind of funny and kind of out there, kind of like, like Spider-Man-ish, I guess is really what I'm going off there. But, I think she does. A lot of her screen time is boring. Some of her screen time is great. I'm not saying it's all bad. I'm just saying overall, I didn't want to pick her because of that. There's just a lot of boring screen time because of her character, but I think she played that really well, especially considering that she's kind of more of a kind of an eccentric actress.
Yeah.
If you think she's boring in the movie, you really ain't gonna like her in the book. Tell you one thing. That's all I'll say.
The movie portrayal is so much better. There's so much more depth to the character.
Yeah, and I like their story and all that too. Yeah, there's plenty of good stuff. So I'm sounding negative with the boring, but she did really, really good.
Well, that can't be right. I was curious. I wanted to see what her screen time was. And initially, this first report, which it's an AI overview on Google Classic AI, it says 31 minutes and 39 seconds. But every other thing says she had 7 minutes. 4.5% of the entire film, which I guess a lot of people were pissed off about, which again, I'm just reading this in headlines right here. I didn't realize that was the screen time. But the first one says 31 minutes.
She was in it more than 7 minutes. No, there's no way.
That's crazy.
Right? Yeah, her 7 minutes of screen time in the 2.5-hour movie were let down, blah, 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 blah. And this is about Dune Part 2. But the first one says 30. So
I think, yeah.
No, Dune 1, she only had like 3 minutes probably. Because she
it
was
was only
like
towards the end.
Glimpses of visions and then the last scene there in the end.
Right.
But yeah, she had to have been in it longer than 7 minutes. I don't know if I believe that.
Maybe the first movie.
Yeah, I think they're messing that up.
She was probably 7 minutes in the first movie.
Right.
Well,
weird.
Yeah, here you go. X, and we all know there are no lies on X. It says 31 minutes. So
okay, yeah. That qualifies for best actor.
That does absolutely. All right, solid. So we got a little bit of variety there. Let's head over to the best actor category. We'll start off with series. So best actor in a series. JD, you just finished. You want to lead this one off?
Oh, that's easy. Colin Farrell, dude. He killed it. Like, he is not Colin Farrell when he is recording that movie. It's like he's a completely different person. The prosthetics they look amazing, and that's not necessarily his skill at work there, but we do know that it is a ton of discomfort for him for a very long time throughout the day. So you got to give him some points for pushing through that. He said how much he hated it and how much he didn't even really want to do season 2 because of the prosthetics alone. But I mean, even outside of that, the accent, the walk, the attitude, the snarkiness, like the funny sarcasm, the dry humor, the dark humor, like he was just so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and he won a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a miniseries or motion picture for TV. Nice. So maybe that'll bring him back. You know, he's obviously getting acknowledged for it.
Give him the bag. He'll come
dude,
back.
One of the funniest things I've seen is him in full costume, but speaking in his Irish.
Right.
It's so funny, bro. I saw a clip of him talking like Colin Farrell in his full penguin getup.
It's like a blip.
It's the weirdest thing. Yeah. It's like this thing's glitching, I think. Yeah, that's a solid pick. All right, Caleb?
I have Colin Farrell as well.
Whoa!
I know, that's crazy. He, just because, like we talked about and we were reviewing the show, how we felt so bad for rooting for him by the end. And like, why did we want him to succeed? He's a piece of shit. And he made us feel like so bad at the end. So, and he just killed it. He was a completely different person. Like, it didn't look like him at all. It didn't sound like him at all. And he just went deep into that character, and having it be a fandom show, but it could live in its own universe by itself and still be just as amazing.
Right. Yeah, no, I really hope he wins more awards past Golden Globes. He deserves to be acknowledged for this role. So this category was actually one of the ones I almost had the biggest snub ever on. And that's because I didn't initially pick Colin Farrell until I went back and re-looked through the list and saw the Penguin. Was like, oh my God. So my OLI goes to Charlie Vickers as Sauron in The Rings of Power. Again, until I realized, oh, the Penguin was a thing. Never mind. Sorry. So obviously Colin Farrell is my winner as well, by a lot. He beat Charlie Vickers by quite a good distance there. But yeah, nothing more to say that you guys already said. Colin Farrell killed it. So let's shoot over to Best Actor in a Movie. I'll start off this topic. And I am going with the stunt double of Godzilla and Godzilla times Kong, a new empire. No, there wasn't a lot of great options as far as I didn't see Joker 2, so I'm sure maybe Joaquin Phoenix might have been in contention, even though the movie wasn't very good. I'm sure Joaquin still played it pretty well, but I didn't watch it. No interest. Didn't have him on there. So I don't even have an OLI. I think this one was a pretty lock solid one for me, and that's going to be Timothée Chalamet, Dune Part 2. He just absolutely ate up the role as Paul Atreides, and kind of like the Rebecca Ferguson thing, he played two roles. He was Paul in the first part, and then he was Lisan Al-Gaib by the end of it. Like, oh, this guy is kind of scaring me. He was the chosen one by the end of it. He was a totally different person, totally different demeanor, just carried himself differently. And Timothy just really killed this. So I think Dune 2 is going to be one of the best things in Timothy's career. I don't know how he's going to up it, you know. He killed it.
Bob Dylan, apparently.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to do it. I'm a big Bob Dylan guy, and I'm a big Timothy Chalamet guy. Mm-hmm. But when I've heard the trailers, I can just hear Timothy. Like, he does a pretty good job at imitating the voice and whatnot, but I hear that voice in there, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to watch that movie. But biopics are hard, especially if you really like the musician that they're doing.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we'll see about that. We saw him do Wonka already, so he's obviously getting big roles after this here, but
yeah,
I don't know how that one went either. Did Wonka do decent in the box office?
Yeah, it did. I think it made like... That was last year, I think.
I think it was 2024. Was it 23?
No, it was 24. No, it might have been 23.
No, December 2023.
Right.
Yeah, so it was and so it was in theaters in 2024 too, but
right.
634 mil, not bad.
Yeah, it was too much music. Me and my wife watched it. Too much music, but still a decent movie. He did a good job.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, that takes care of our actors and actresses lists. Shout out to Colin Farrell, Timothy Chalamet. Or wait,
no,
did I just start Best Actor? Nobody else is gone, right? And
whoa.
we're out of here. Let's get on to the next category.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Love, why don't you go ahead and talk about your Best Actor in a movie?
Well, I'm gonna throw a curveball here. Definitely a different choice than you made. Nah, I'm kidding.
Oh,
it's Muad'Dib.
it's kind of excited.
It's Kwisatz Haderach, the Lisan Al-Gaib, Timothy Chalamet. I mean, the movie of the year. Spoiler alert. We all knew. I mean, if you guessed in the comments from earlier.
What?
And he just killed it. Like, perfect casting for this role. Like, especially after you read the book too. Like, he killed it. You have to pick him.
Yeah. When I read the book, I can't not picture Timothy the entire time in the role, which I guess it makes sense after you watch the movie of it. But yeah, he really did embody Paul. All right, JD, we both listed ours. Who you got? Best Actor in a Movie, 2024.
I also have Tim Chalamet. That was pretty easy, especially with, like I keep saying, not a huge pool to pick from, but he was incredible. I think I didn't want to give him enough credit when I started like Dune 1, right? I was like, oh, what is this freaking nerd gonna do with this? But even in Dune 1, he ended up being really solid. And then we got Dune 2, where he really amps it up, especially with a couple of those speeches. You know, he became like a really cool figure to follow for this for the Fremen. And he killed it. Absolutely killed it. Some of those speeches were awesome. I think everything he did was pretty much perfect. There's nothing I could see that he did poorly. So yeah, Tim gets it.
Timmy, across the board. So Colin Farrell and Tim sweep the best actors of a series and movie. And I think that was pretty much to be expected. Dune Part 2 is on another level this year. So not a surprise there. I'm sure we won't hear about that movie for the rest of the episode. So let's head on over to the biggest bleep moment. That moment in a movie or show that just made you go, oh, shit. Oh, shit. So that is what we're doing here. That's the qualifications. If you didn't react that way, it can't be on the list. No, but any moment that just made your jaw drop was a wild moment in a movie or a series. JD, you want to start us off?
I can't tell you how many non-fandom movies made me go, ah, shit. But yeah, I guess we're not bringing those ones up. No,
throw it out for
what do I have for biggest oh shit is Blade. Blade was definitely a big oh shit, which is why I was so happy to put Human Torch as biggest surprise and then Blade as biggest oh shit. But Human Torch was more of a what the fuck, and then Blade was like oh shit. There was also there was so much behind the scenes with Blade too, because there was a little feud there with Ryan Reynolds and Blade. Right. I mean, out of so many characters that I thought could show up, I thought he probably would definitely not show up.
He was like
And then
plus
it's just Wesley
1,000
Snipes.
on the cameo odds.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Dave called it. We had the proof. We had a piece of the TikTok there where he said, "Watch Blade show up" at one point, and that was awesome. So he called the very least likely one, probably as a joke, but then it worked.
Yeah.
But when he
dissect it,
when he hits the stage, the music goes hard too.
Dude.
And it was perfect for Wesley Snipes' Blade to show up. Yeah.
That
So
beat
he
drop.
had a really couple funny lines.
Yeah.
Retarded.
Retired. Marty in the
Not as
Void.
much-
They need to get canceled twice.
I would have preferred more action from him, but whatever. It was still definitely that moment itself was the biggest oh shit for sure.
Yeah.
Shit in a long
Yeah.
time. Probably more than any in 2023 too.
Yeah, and I forget what my pick was for that. But yeah, man, just when he walked on screen, he entered the room, and like you said, that beat drop was just, I'm not going to imitate it because it's not going to do it justice. But God, dude, yeah, it set the mood. It was like, oh, like just the bass dropped right there when he walked on screen. It was just awesome. It was a perfect sound for that. I had Godzilla's atomic breath and -1 that first time he leans back and let, which that was pretty wild.
That's pretty cool.
But,
Blade beats that
Blade was pretty wild
in a different way.
Yeah, totally different type of situation. But that was mine as well. So it's Blade walking onto the screen. That was just such a cool moment. And like you said, we didn't really get to see him doing like cool action like we saw in his movies. He got a few scenes, but there wasn't like anything amazing. The coolest part was definitely him walking into the room and then that back and forth. I don't like you. You never did. Like their whole give and take was just perfect across the board. So that was a good one. Love, you got something different? What do you got?
I do.
Nice.
My OLI is the ending of Alien Romulus. So when the facehuggers and the xenomorphs attack, you get the zero gravity scene, which looks cool, but don't dive too deep into it, but still looks great. And then Kay gives birth to the human xenomorph hybrid, and it's like the slow reveal around the corner as it's like eating her alive. And then it like stands up like 8 feet tall, and you're just like, oh my God. Like, such a great ending to the movie. Definitely said, oh shit.
Oh, absolutely. And just the craziest thing about that, so that character is the Offspring, and it's just this super tall, skinny, weird looking deal. And the messed up part is that was an actual person in costume.
Yeah, right.
And he's a Romanian basketball player, the 7'7", insanely skinny basketball player who probably can't play basketball anymore because he's way too skinny and his ankles will break. He got to just be cast as a freakishly tall, skinny alien. So
good job, dude.
I guess win-win. But
congratulations.
But that's why it looks so realistic and creepy, is because that was an actual dude walking around. Like that was that was a nice touch. All right, I like that pick.
But my actual pick, that was yeah. And you guys, you guys have the wrong answer clearly because I have the right one. And you kind of mentioned it earlier, and you said, spoiler alert, you don't want to spoil the ending of the Penguin, but I'm about to. And it's Victor's death. Like, just because of like everything we went through, and you think, okay, Victor's gonna be by his side, they're gonna be rolling into Batman 2 together, and Penguin's like, no, like after my mom died, or after mom's a vegetable, I can't trust anyone anymore. I can't have anyone that I care about with me. And it was just so sad and heartbreaking, like after like everything we went through with Victor and Penguin, for him to do that to him at the end, and the way he was like, Victor was in shock when it happened. He couldn't even like defend himself because of what was going on. Like,
please, no struggle, please. Just said please. Oh my God,
so brutal.
That's a good pick. My jaw was on the floor when that happened. Like that was horrifyingly depressing. Like I think I agree with you. I think I might agree with that. I might put that over Blade. That was wild.
That was fucked up.
So I don't like to say that, but
turn cloak.
Sorry, JD. I think we had more shots from last year. Again, we had the whole Vader Anakin flip in Ahsoka. which was a pretty crazy moment. Again, the Godzilla thing I think was pretty awesome. That atomic breath scene was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And I forgot, I think, was it Joel killing everybody, I think was my other moment, where he just mows down everybody in the little hospital area. So there was a lot of wild stuff that happened last year, but no, that's a good one. All right, let's get into one of my favorite categories here, and that is Best New Character. So obviously it doesn't have to be a brand new original character. So it can be a brand new original character we've never seen, or it can be the first time, like an MCU character, the first time being brought into the universe kind of deal, something like that. So it could be any of those. Caleb, you just ended it. Why don't you start us off here?
Well, it's good I'm starting it off because I'm going straight back to back, and it's Victor. Victor was the best new character of the year for me. Like, just the character growth we got with him, where it was kind of the same thing with Christine Miliot's character. Like, who is this kid? Like, why are we focusing on him so much? But he was us. He was a person who who's trying to make it in this mobster world, but isn't really made out for it. You know, like, he should be just working a 9 to 5, having, you know, a normal life, but he wants to have some notoriety in the town and work his way up to the top to make his parents, who are now passed away, kind of proud of him.
And the desperation of the damage kind of forced him to play that hand.
Yeah. Right.
If his parents are alive, he's not in this situation.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to go with Victor.
I like it. Now I see what you mean by he'll appear later in the episode. I did not know what category you were referring to there, but
I thought it was a different one. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it was. It was back to backs right there. It was the oh shit moment and that right there. So fair enough.
That's
all right.
It's true. I didn't see oh shit coming with Vic either. Okay.
Yeah, but I think I agree, and Ben in the chat agrees with you too. Said thank you, Lub, for dropping that Victor line there. So you're not alone. All right. I disagree on the best new character, but that's another topic. JD, why don't you go ahead and give us your pick?
I also have Victor. Yeah.
Oh, and, let's go, Dave.
I've covered a lot of it. That was such an interesting character because on paper it sounds so boring. So, I mean, even in the trailer, he didn't barely get anything in the trailers. I had no idea what was going on. No. He was the big first character, like, why are we spending so much time here kind of thing for me, as opposed to Christine Milioti, because she kind of sold me on the first episode. I was like,
that's true.
I see what's going on here. Like, I'm in. Yeah. But with Victor, I mean, by the end of it, he pulls off that trick, so you're kind of like sold. But I was still, no, I'm going to take that back. I would expect to not be excited about his story, but even like from the very first scene, I get you hooked into his story with the Penguin. So, but on paper, before you start watching, it just seems like such a boring character, and they pulled it off, and it led to one of the biggest oh shit moments ever. And so yeah, Vic for sure. I loved him too. I loved him so much. It was, spoiler alerts, it was just so sad to see him go. One of the most heartbreaking scenes like ever, as far as deaths go. please. She's like, dude, no.
Dude, the please just hurt. It was just painful to hear that. Ugh.
Yeah, and like I've said in other episodes, I'm very thankful. I mean, I'm not thankful. That is genius writing. Because if that didn't happen, we're straight up like rooting for the Penguin, and we're going into the Batman movie where he's probably going to get punched quite a few times, and like would have been like, no, don't hurt him. But now that he did this to Vic, now that he did that to Vic, you're just like, you can't wait to see Batman whoop his ass. So
he just has mommy issues. That's all.
He had a rough childhood. Leave him alone. All right. Well, you know what? I like to see you guys bonding and agreeing, whether you're right or wrong. You know, I like seeing it, and
regardless of how intimate,
but it's still fun.
No matter what.
Yeah. Well, you know, some things will turn the camera off, but yeah, you know, you guys are wrong, but I like seeing you agree on things. So
show me your belly button.
Oh, I don't even have Victor as an OLI. What?
We'll show you anything, man.
Yeah. I don't even have Victor as an OLI actually. I think he was a great character. Obviously, he was my best supporting actor. I thought he killed it. He was so much better than I was expecting. But as far as overall best new characters, I did not have him on my list. So I had OLI, believe it or not.
Oh, Chameleon.
I had Chameleon. God, what a stupid decision. Oh my God.
That's a
What a
great
loser.
character. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
he was awesome.
Unbelievable.
No, so my OLI goes to Kamir. He was an actor in one of my least favorite shows of the year, but he was the only good part of it, and I thought he was a really cool character to be brought in. It was the first new Sith we've ever really seen in years. Who knows? I don't remember the last new actual Sith we got brought into a live action project. He brought the best parts of the show by a mile, and he gave us some of the best lightsaber action we've ever gotten. He was intimidating. He was mysterious. He was kind of funny when he was undercover and kind of doing his thing. So he played a couple, but I just thought as a whole, Kamir was the only thing right with the Acolyte there, and I thought he was a really solid new character who deserved to be on a better show. That's my OLI, but my winner, and JD, I'm going to give you a pass because you didn't see the show. Lub. Figure it out, man. The new character, the winner, is Mr. Walton Goggins' The Ghoul in the Fallout.
That's fair.
In just Fallout, not the Fallout. I don't know why I added that. The Ghoul was... He made the series. If the Ghoul wasn't in the Fallout series, I don't know. I wouldn't have liked it as much. That's absolutely 100% positive. It would not have been as good. Walton Goggins is becoming one of my favorite actors out there. Every role I see this man in is good. His charisma, his acting prowess and everything, like he just sucks you into the screen anytime he's got screen time. And the Ghoul is such a cool character. I won't dive into any of the endings there. JD, you definitely got to watch that show. But he just carries it. Every time he's on screen, it's such a great scene. He's got such charisma when he's riding around and just taking people out, taking out the armored fighters. Every line he's got nice little Easter egg lines about the game itself. You know, the Wasteland's got its own golden rule. Thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every damn time. And it's exactly what happens in the games.
Right.
No, the Ghoul was just such an awesome character, and I think he absolutely made the show. So I think the Penguin could have survived without Vic. I don't think Fallout could have survived without the Ghoul. So I'm going with the Ghoul, and I feel good about that one.
Dude, you gotta watch Righteous Gemstones. Baby Billy.
I know. I've seen the clips, and it's. Have you seen Vice Principal with Danny McBride?
Oh, and they must be friends because they're both in Righteous Gemstones too.
They do stuff together a lot, and it's on Max too.
Okay.
I think there's only one season, but it's freaking hilarious, and Walton Goggins in it is incredible. He's amazing and Justified with Timothy Olyphant. It was an FX series Western. Pretty much every side character this guy touches is gold.
Yeah.
I even enjoyed him in Ant-Man 2. And he shouldn't have even been in there. It wasn't a good movie, but his little role in there was enjoyable. But no, I love Walton Goggins. So, now that you guys are wrong, we can go ahead and just move on to the next category. I think we all agreed in the chat. If you think I'm right, go ahead and throw a thumbs up, or just be silent. Actually, don't say anything if you agree with me.
That would, yeah.
I think Ben would agree with me on that one. I don't know, maybe not. We've been disagreeing a lot lately. So let's go to the next category, and this is another fun one. And Ben in the chat is curious if JD is drinking milk straight from the carton, which I didn't see it, but
Water, my friend. If it was chocolate milk, if I had that in the fridge, it might be milk.
Fair enough. Oh, he agrees with me, by the way. Hey, I always knew Ben was a good guy deep down. You know, he might be a Rams fan, but you can be right. So the Ghoul is the winner. Everybody said so. Let's head on to the best villain. We had some decent villains this year. I think the villain list was a little more stacked last year, but we had a few good ones to pick from. So movie or series, same deal. Caleb, why don't you start us off?
Have you ever heard of Sauron?
Oh,
I got Anatar, Sauron, as the best villain of the year. Just the way he took over in this season compared to the first one. Tricking my boy Celebrimbor, who might be a runner-up for best supporting actor in a series. But yeah, Anatar, Sauron, just the way he formed into a different character. Just like we talked about with other people, where he was a totally different person from the first season. And the manipulation, the way he tricked the dwarves, the elves, Celebrimbor, he killed it, and I can't wait for his next iteration next season down in Mordor.
Yeah, that should be wild. I like it. No LLI.
No,
No?
just him.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, JD, what do you got for us?
Man, I thought of Anatar, but I couldn't do it. He was great, but I think that was more writing than acting. I think he did a good job acting, a fine job acting, but I think that's more writing. I think they just wrote that character really well,
Fair.
which I'm so happy about. Sauron should be the most legendary villain ever, but they might get him there, dude, if they keep it up. Anyway, my pick for villain was also the Hangman, Christine Milioti.
Okay.
I forgot her other name there, but
Sophia.
right, and definitely a villain, right? Penguin not being a hero
Yeah.
doesn't change the fact that she's the villain there, but
No, they're
she
both
stood
villains.
out. The writing and the acting was crazy there. I would say maybe even the writing for Anatar was better though, because maybe just because I just love Sauron. Anyway, writing solid for the Hangman there. I liked kind of playing with our expectations with that character because she is a murderer in the comics. She's also like a giant like Shrek in the comics. But
I just saw that. I just typed her in and was like, oh, wow.
yeah.
Not cute,
So
huh?
no, not like this one. Not like
Absolutely
Christine.
not.
but she just killed it, and her role was so well written, and it just made, without that the Penguin story doesn't really exist. So they did a really good job making a crucial part of that story. She killed it as the actress. So yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I didn't even have her as an OLI, but I would like to strike that and put her as an OLI because she was a great villain.
No, too late.
But this is best villain. It's really
I
not
haven't even
about
gone yet.
It's really not about the acting. I was putting too much acting thought into this. It's just best
Yeah,
villain.
I was going to point that out. I was going to say writing
Damn.
would still attribute it to the villain because it's not the
Okay.
acting performance. It's just the character as a whole.
I'm going
Right.
with love then. I'm going Anatar because
No!
yeah,
No,
that
wait,
was
too
my
late.
that was my only reason not to pick him. I said because it wasn't really the acting, it was the writing, but that is relevant.
okay.
If this is the best villain,
Overall.
I kind of wanted to give it to Anatar, dude, because they killed it. The deception there was so sick, like changing Celebrimbor's view as he's walking out of the the forgery there or whatever, and then he walks out and the whole scene changes. Like all that stuff was so sick. He has him toss off this girl off the balcony, making it look like it was him. Man, he had Celebrimbor with like 12 arrows in his torso. When that finale started, I think it was like that was scary. So it was still well acted, but yeah, that was a really fun villain and cool to see kind of a redemption season 2 as far as a lot of the fans go. Anyway, I liked season 1, we all did. But seeing a lot of the fans kind of dive over to season 2 was really cool to see. I'm glad that it's picking up steam, and a
They
lot
listen
of that
to
does
the-
have
they
to
listen to
do
the
with
fans, too.
Anatar. Yeah,
Like less Harfoots, less bullshit. Focus on the main stuff.
yeah. So
Yeah. All right.
remix.
So OLI goes to Sophia Falcone, but the winner goes to Sauron
let's do
for
that.
you. Anatar. All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
No, I like the Sophia Falcone. Like I said, I didn't initially have. I'd toss her in Penguin kind of side by side in the OLIs for villain. And another OLI I had, one of them was 95% of the House of the Dragon cast because they're all villains and they all did a pretty good job.
No one's like,
I wanted to throw out an OLI to Dementis from Furiosa, though. Chris Hemsworth's character. I thought he did a really good job, bro. I really enjoyed the whole character of Dementis in Furiosa. He was such a weird, different type of villain, but I just had fun watching Chris Hemsworth, and you could tell Chris Hemsworth had fun taking on that role. Like he leaned into it a lot, the kind of madness, almost dark humor that is pretty typical in a Mad Max project. I thought he did a really good job. Cassandra Nova didn't quite make the cut. I thought about her, but she wasn't really around much.
Briefly, and I was like, oh wait, stop, go, move on.
Yeah. So I thought about that, stopped that in its tracks. No, my winner is Sauron as well. Anatar. I mean, I just as somebody who's a big Lord of the Rings fan and thinks Sauron is one of the coolest, mysterious villains in the world, I was very nervous about them doing a live action like this with such a mysterious character, a character we haven't dove into really outside of the Silmarillion and whatnot. And I was very pleased with it. So I think it just has to take you. Yeah, I loved Sauron in this season. Across the board, there we go. We got unanimous Well, we got Sauron as unanimous. We got Timothy Chalamet as Best Actor. We got Colin Farrell as Best Actor in a Series. And I think those are our only unanimouses so far.
I had most emotional moment. We got rid of it. That's where I thought Vic was going for love.
For sure.
And then new character I figured was too. But yeah, no. I put also Vic as my most emotional moment.
Right, that's fair.
I was going to say, we did delete that. Is there anything you guys had in mind that you were going to throw out there for like most emotional? I didn't pick one because we deleted it, but just curious if you guys had one in mind.
Yeah, that was
I didn't pick one, but off the top, I would pick the climax of Dune 2 with Zendaya watching him.
You romantic freaking
Florence
nerd.
Pugh, you know, because it's the way the movie ended, where she's just like so pissed
Alone.
off,
That is
blood
sad,
raging
dude.
inside of her. You know what I mean?
That's brutal.
Yeah.
And
No,
she's
that's
most likely pregnant.
That's a good pick.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Deadbeat
So you
dad.
gotta
Gotta go
feel
get
bad.
some cigarettes.
pack of cigarettes.
That's a good one. Yeah, I didn't have any off the top. Honestly, Deadpool and Wolverine might have had a scene out of there. I feel like there was an emotional scene in there. I don't remember though. But I don't have one, so don't hold me to it. No, Nice Pool getting lit
The
up.
death of Nice Pool.
How long's your healing factor take? Healing factor? I gotta watch that too. I have not rewatched
Hold
it
on.
since it came
My
out. on
legs are
streaming.
tired.
That was awesome. All right. That does it for best villain. That does it for best new character. So we are at the final two, the big swinging categories of the night. Best movie of the year and best series of the year. Let's start off with best movie, just because I feel like it's going to be less climactic. I'll go ahead and throw mine out. It's obviously Madam Web. It stunned the country. It was incredible. No, I mean, it's Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2 is one of my favorite movies that's came out in the last 15 years. I mean, it's top 10 all time, absolutely. It might be top 5. I don't know yet. I still haven't rewatched it since it came out on streaming. I watched it a couple times in theaters. But it's just incredible. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen in theaters, and we've talked about it at length. We have an episode on Dune Part 2. We have multiple episodes talking about it. So there's not much left for me to cover, but it's just incredible. Such an epic movie on another level. Dune Part 2 by a mile for me. So, Lub?
I actually have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. No, I'm just
figured,
kidding.
yeah.
No mention of. No,
Oh,
I'm
God.
kidding. No mention of that movie in this podcast.
I
but
tried.
It was solid.
OLI
It was
for
solid.
best
but
movie.
No,
It's
my
hard
OLI,
to do best actor in that movie. They're all chimps.
right? But my OLI is Deadpool and Wolverine. I did think that was a good, refreshing Marvel movie. It didn't advance the wider story forward like we thought it might, but it was still fun. But of course, the winner is Dune Part 2. Like you said, probably top 10 all time for me. Like, I like the first one more than most. I feel like I really do enjoy the first one, and then it's just took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's one of those movies I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it to literally anybody. I'd recommend it to my parents, and they don't have the same movie taste as I do, but I would recommend it to anybody. It's just incredible.
Yep.
JD, let's hear it. Is it Joker 2?
Dune 2 is my favorite. We'll get it out of the way. I got like 45 OLIs. But yeah, I mean, we covered everything. Dune was amazing. Really amped it up from Dune 1. Felt different. It felt so unique and different and grand and climactic and just freaking. It's like Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings plus the best quality possible. And just freaking killed it. Very good surprise in a phase of mediocrity. So yeah, but that's easy. But I mean, I shouldn't even say easy because Deadpool and Wolverine as an OLI was super hard because of just much like the action scene thing, or the action quality. It's totally opposite. Like Deadpool and Wolverine, as a huge comic book fan, was one of the nerdiest, like coolest, fun experiences ever. Action and humor was on point, like some of the best. And it was just so much fun. Like, the only reason it didn't make it is because the story really didn't matter, actually, like we hoped it would, and it wasn't significant for the MCU or the X-Men or mutants or anything. That would have made it even better than Dune 2 for me as a nerd, but that keeps it at OLI probably. But it's pretty much like rewatchability, for example. I like this. This is my consciousness screaming about how good the rewatchability is.
What is going on?
The game, man. I got it paused. I still got to watch a whole second half. So I don't want to know.
Oh.
So I don't want to know.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
tell
I
me
won't
the
say
score.
anything then. Yeah.
What else? Rewatchability was the last point I wanted to make about Deadpool and Wolverine. That is more than Dune 2 for sure. I've rewatched it already twice. I'll probably rewatch it, at least 3 times this year. So rewatchability for sure. But the movie quality, the cinematics, everything about Dune 2 was just spectacular. It's kind of raised the bar for cinema, much like Star Wars did in its day, much like Lord of the Rings did in its day. I think Dune did that. Again, in a world that's already saturated with so much sci-fi and space and war, somehow they made it unique and cool, and they raised the bar.
Yeah. Well, so I wanted to ask you guys, because I kind of figured we were all going to pick Dune. It seemed like a pretty obvious thing, and I kind of figured everybody would have Deadpool and Wolverine as their OLI. So I wanted to ask you, before we skip on to the next one, what would your number 3 be? Not Dune, not Deadpool and Wolverine. What would the next one up be for you guys on the year? And again, there's not a lot to pick from, but I'm curious. Do you guys know?
Oh, absolutely. I have a list. I also have a couple non-nerd movies just to talk about real quick for fun. But yeah, my third place would be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Love, thank you. You're welcome. That would for sure. That was a lot of fun. I think I even like it more than Dawn, just because a couple specific directions they took with Dawn bugged me for some weird reason. I love watching Dawn. It's great. Rise is still my favorite, but I think Kingdom is my second favorite. It was just fun and different, and it went in a different direction I thought it would. And it was just entertaining and fun and different, and really what I kind of thought Dawn would be more like, or even War for the. No, never mind. Take the humans out. Yeah, War was a disappointing one. That I forgot to mention that. But yeah, so Kingdom's third place. And I actually wanted to mention Godzilla X Kong because that ended up being really fun. And it's not it's not in my top 5 or anything. I just wanted to give it a throw out for 2024. So weird, and they committed it. It felt like the fun of a WWF thing where it's it's just so bizarre and out there. Yeah, they really committed to it making 0 sense and just for the fun and the thrill. So, for that, the villain was cool. Everything was fun. So I had to mention it. But a couple non-nerd things. I have a Hitman with Glenn Powell. Did you guys see that?
Oh no, I heard about it though. I didn't watch it yet. Where he assumes a bunch of different identities as a hitman and.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. One of those really good surprise movies that brought a really fun little movie night, and that was really solid. And Carry On with Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman. I thought that was the same experience. I put it on, it looked pretty good, and I was like, I love it. Yeah, I miss movies being like that, just random movies that aren't nerd movies that are just
low budget, just
really fun to watch. Yeah, good story, good acting, good everything.
Yeah, I like it. So, Lub, would you have Kingdom in your top 3, or do you have a different third pick?
Yeah, sorry.
No, dude, I want to hear. I was curious what your non-fandom movies were, actually. So.
Yeah,
it would be Kingdom or Alien Romulus. I think.
Okay,
those would be the 2 I'd choose from.
All right. Yeah, and I'd have Kingdom I'd be Kingdom. Furiosa would probably be right below it. I think I enjoy it. Tough. I don't know. It's totally different. I really respected Alien in the way they did the whole 80s analog type technology and whatnot and matched it to the original movie and all of that. I thought that was really, really cool, but it was disappointing in other aspects. But yeah, Kingdom. All right, so that wasn't as fun as I thought it'd be. We have the same top 3 across the board. It did not help at all. But all right. Well, I think we have. Well, God, probably not. But at least there were more series in 2024. Actually, we might have it different. Let's see what we got. JD, you want to start us off? What was your best series of 2024?
All right, I'll save it for last, even though it's probably not a surprise, especially the comic book guy. Non-fandom, Dark Matter, I want to give a mention because I was such a huge fan of the book. Literally read it twice before I even knew it was ever going to become a show. So seeing that, I mean, it was one of my favorite books ever, period. Yeah, before I ever knew that was going to happen. And then the show was really good. It followed the book just enough. It did its own thing just enough. It was a lot of fun. So that was just fun to see for the book aspect. X-Men 97, it's still like not up there with Creatures Commandos for me because they did kind of, there's still some corny dialogue. There's still some stuff that made it feel more animated to me, where you don't get that in Creatures Commando. Like most of Wolverine's dialogue was pretty bad. Just some corny one-liner that wasn't funny or cool, or some of the things were a little whatever as far as dialogue. Rings of Power, great. Loved that season 2 came back, and I already spoke about that. So, got to talk about House of the Dragon. That sucked. I'm really bummed out that sucked. That is probably one of my like OLI disappointments. But Penguin, of course, is my favorite. So, and we talked plenty about it so far. Let's leave it at that. But yeah, Penguin, man.
Nice.
I'll do a little bit. Felt so comic booky at the same time as you couldn't have that same exact show and not be a comic book. So it was so cool in that aspect. Like, it works as a not comic book show, yet it felt so much like a comic book show in Gotham. Like, it was rated R. That was awesome to see them commit to that. Seeing them build up this Reeves universe. Now we're so excited for the Batman 2. Excellent, dude. Writing, story, acting. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. All right. I have a feeling, but Caleb, what do we got?
My winner is the Penguin as well. Let's get that out of the way first. Big surprise. But I forgot what my top 5 was for the episode we did when we did our 2025. I know Penguin was number 1, but my OLI is going to be Rings of Power.
Oh, yeah, so good.
That was then. This is now. We're putting Rings number 2.
That was then. This is now.
So, because Rings of Power for the fandom show, because I feel like Shogun was probably number 2 for me, actually. So Rings, when it comes to Rings versus House of the Dragon, like I predicted before, okay, so if you want some predictions, come to me.
There you go.
That it would be better than House of the Dragon, and it was by far. The climax of the show was so much better than House of the Dragon, having the best episode be in the middle, and the last 3 kind of just dragging on, teasing the next season. So it's Rings.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. Rings was your final pick?
OLI.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your main was?
Penguin.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry. When you said it last there, my brain broke. Okay. So Rings, OLI, Penguin first. Well, gentlemen, we got a different list coming. And
Whoa.
as Lub once said, that was then, this is now. Top 5 list of the series. It may, don't go back and look. Maybe things changed. But I thought about it long and hard, baby. And I came to the conclusion that I think the show I enjoyed the most, pound for pound, from start to finish, is the one I'm picking. And the Penguin is my OLI for the best series of the year. Very good.
Agatha.
It was great. And dude, you spoiled it. No, I watched episode 7 of that, and it wasn't bad, actually. I have not gone back to watch all of it, but that one episode JD suggested was actually surprisingly good.
It's pretty good.
No, but honestly, the show that I really enjoyed most from start to finish, I was most surprised about, and it was just it had action, it had the weird, quirky mystery adventure, it had great humor, and it just did a great job at being an adaptation of something. And that's Fallout. I'm giving Fallout the best series of 2024, man.
Who paid you?
I'm telling you, I just, again, because the Penguin, it's slowed down. It only had 6 episodes, right?
No, 8.
Should have
That
forgot.
Dune.
Was it
No,
8?
It did
was
slow
6.
down. It was slow
Okay.
in the middle. I'll give you that.
There, in the middle, it started dragging a little bit. And what I will say for Fallout is I don't think there was a point in the season that it dragged. I think I was just genuinely enjoying that from start to finish. And I was just so surprised by it. So I'm giving it the nod. It's very close. A month from now, you could ask me, and if I forget, I might say Penguin. But I got to give love to Fallout. I just am really surprised at the quality show they made out of that.
Right.
And I'm
Especially
excited for
after
next
Halo.
season. Yeah, Halo. Yeah. After seeing one of your favorite video games be absolutely screwed into the ground, it's nice to see a video game adaptation be done right. And again, leading into season 2, it looks like we're going to be getting some New Vegas stuff, which just after playing that game, I'm really excited to see what aspects they're going to bring into the season 2. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Fallout, man.
Fair.
Might be a hot take, but
Maybe season 3 is Fallout 4. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
You know, like they move on game by game.
Well, so I've heard rumors that like events that happened in the show shows the results from the Fallout 4 gameplay. Like, oh, well, since we see this, this means that these people won in Fallout 4. Which again, I don't know because I haven't played Fallout 4,
Well,
but like the Brotherhood of Steel's massive flying ship that's in the air proves that they either won the war or somebody else won the war in Fallout 4. So there's interesting stuff like that. So I don't know what their plan is, but wow. Ben in the chat apparently saw that coming. Said Dave picking Fallout was minus 250.
Wow.
Which means it was 1 to 2.5 odds that I would pick it, which means it was expected if you aren't a degenerate gambler out there. So I got your back. But I didn't even expect it. But, you know. Yeah,
Dave likes to swerve.
Ben knows me.
Zig when others zag.
So. We got a
Shit, I just want to watch this now.
Dude, you really should. It's fun. I'm probably going to rewatch it. I started a rewatch because I was playing the game, but I'm going to finish that rewatch soon here because it's just a solid show. But
I started it a long time ago. Does it change a lot? Because the beginning felt very weird. And
no, it picks up
weird
for sure.
It's weird. It does, but it's a weird style to it. It goes on. The video game has a weird feel to it. You know.
Well,
it's
how
very
soon does
quirky.
something really hook you? Is it going to be 1 episode or 2 or what?
I can't remember.
I think I was hooked after the first episode. I feel like,
end,
but maybe they did a 2-episode premiere. I don't recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, while you look that up, Creatures Commando I mentioned, but I didn't actually. It's definitely an LOI, and it might even be second place to Penguin. Like, not probably. Actually, maybe even more than Rings of Power, dude. It's more condensed and rewatchable. It's like half the overall watching time. It was just a lot of fun. So, it's probably not overall more than Rings of Power. Anyway, I'm just. Really good though. Really good. Creatures Commando.
Shilling for James Gunn.
Super good. Yeah, I'm gonna shill the hell out of that guy. The Messiah. DC's Messiah. He's DC Jesus. Dave?
Hosting? Mr. Host.
Yeah.
We're lost without our host. It's like a dark forest out here.
And I agree with what was said. Yeah, dude, I would recommend Fallout. And speaking of recommending watching stuff, love, maybe you should finish Daredevil season 2. So the weather is nice. If you're out there, by the way, we've got Daredevil Born Again dropping in a month and a half now. We did an episode on Daredevil season 1. We are going to do one on season 2. We promised Andy that he could be a part of that episode. Andy from the Galactic Core podcast, returning guest, one of our good friends over across the pond. We're going to bring him on for that episode. So, and then we'll see about season 3. We'll try to squeeze that out before Daredevil Born Again comes out. I don't know. It's on love, I guess. I don't know. But we're going to at least do season 2 for sure because it's dope. But yeah, I recommend Fallout. So, I think that wraps it up here.
Box office draft.
Yeah, so we have hit the end here. Our next thing coming out is going to be the box office draft for 2025. We are obviously there. Last year we did our draft in March, so we're ahead of the schedule. We're gonna get it out before Captain America: Brave New World drops because that's obviously gonna be a big draft. And during that episode, we are going to announce the winner of the 2024 box office draft.
Photo finish.
Yeah, so currently Caleb has Sonic 3 and Mufasa both out, both still bringing in numbers, and I think, you got 200 million to catch up or something like that?
Okay. I don't know. It's risky.
So we're watching Sonic 3 and Mufasa. We'll see how they finish, but that is going to be what determines this, which, again, last year our winner was determined in March because of Dune Part 2's delay.
Right.
So we'll get a winner sooner than that, but stay tuned. We are going to be covering that. We're going to award the winner, and we'll do our fun little draft there. On top of that, guys, is there anything else? I know we had something else coming up here soon, right?
Man, I was just about to say next year's Siddies is going to be crazy. Got Thunderbolts, Cap 4, Superman. What else? Fantastic Four.
It's going to be heavy on the movies.
Dude, Siddies. That's going to be a fun one.
It is, but we've also got like
way more.
Daredevil, Born Again, Night of the
Stranger
Seven
Things.
Kingdoms, Last of Us, Stranger Things.
yeah.
Dude, we have a
Unreal.
lot of stuff coming in 2025. Well, I guess Squid Game's not fandom.
Damn near though, almost. It's almost
close.
culty enough.
It's getting there. Yeah, yeah.
Wait till
No,
the end
so
of
the-
the Squid Games expanded
Thunderbolts
universe.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dude, one
right.
spin-off
Good
film
God.
and we're in.
Oh God, it's gonna be a crossover with the Acolyte.
And Noel.
Pop
Oh.
up over there. the actor, I
Homeboy?
forget his name. Yeah. But yeah, so stay tuned. We got some fun stuff coming. We're going into the 2025 year here strong. Go ahead and follow us on YouTube. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram, X, and if TikTok is still alive, I'm sure you're all already following there. But if you're not, go ahead and follow us there too, because we don't give up. It might still survive. We do not know. The future President Trump has said that he is gonna save it. So we'll see what the hell that means.
It's
and
the
if
greatest
that's
social
actually
media
something that's
platform
gonna
of all
happen.
time.
It's the greatest. That's what everybody says.
It's the
Little
best.
Rocket Man wants to keep it in. We're gonna keep it in.
The other one's
So-
terrible, stupid.
The Rocket Man's is from the wrong country. Oh, it's okay. We're
Is
not
it Elon
talking about
Musk?
China here. Rocket Man's Kim Jong Un. He's from North Korea, so that doesn't really have anything to do with TikTok. It's okay.
Anyways,
We're gonna move.
It's over there.
We're
It's
gonna
over there.
move
We're an hour
on.
and a half in.
It's across the pond. I mean,
We're losing it. All right. But anyway, that'll wrap it up here for our awards ceremony. Thank you for joining us at the 3rd Annual Siddie Awards of 2024. It was a blast. It was a year. We're going to head on to a better year. We're going to have a bunch of good content coming out, so be sure to stay tuned with us. And we appreciate you for joining us here tonight. Shout out to the co-hosts, JD and Caleb. Thank you for joining us. Missing a football playoff game. We make sacrifices here to get you the content, so I hope you guys are happy. And we will see you next time on Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast.
all right, I forgot want to go press play, so I'll see you fellas later.
Yeah,
I'll leave
go
this
watch
open.
that. It looks like a crazy ending. Enjoy.
All right, fellas,
I
later.
almost spoiled it when Dave said something.
I know, I did too. Bro, 39.5 points.
That's dude. Vegas
For,
knows.
or yards. He gets
Vegas knows.
39. Like, bro, what are we? Half of a yard. They know. That happens way too much for.
Yeah,
it's
right.
insane. Like, I just don't get it.
They know what they're fucking doing. That's for sure.
They absolutely know. All right.
Later, bro.
Well, I'm gonna go eat some dinner. Later, brother.
Same.